to be with you, Gogo Neo.
Nyabonga. I've got this little issue, or I've got this little challenge, right? But by now, I've actually come to terms with it, right? So sometimes people refer to me as Kokoneo, sometimes refer to me as Mkhulu. So obviously, being the biased male that I am, I'm like, how did he just call me Koko? And then I am reminded that, in the work that we do, we work with different energies. And sometimes when I am referred to as Ukoko Neo, I take it that the feminine energy
Exactly.
at this current moment
Mother.
in time is in charge. Uh, so I greet you back and I thank you. And thank you for recognizing Lokoko that I am with.
Exactly.
Thank you. Princess Lunga Buthelezi, just greet our audiences who are currently joining us from all over the world.
Hello, everyone. I am Princess Mkhulu Nkanyamba. I am humbled and thankful to be welcomed and to be able to be part of this wonderful journey that's
Ah,
been taken today.
thank you. Thank you so much. You don't understand how excited I am. It's like I'm at a loss for words, right? So, you know, number one, to have somebody like yourself, Princess Lunga, Buthelezi, who at the age of 9 years old was already considered a formidable force to be reckoned with on global stages as a contortionist. Am I saying it correctly? And your story is really remarkable, and I'm hoping that I can have you back on the show again, where we're actually going to focus on you, and we can actually hear your story, your journey of rising right to the topmost and being regarded as, to even be recognized by the late king of pop, Michael Jackson, in your art. I mean, for me, it's like at the age of 9, I was, I mean, me at the age of 9, do you have any idea what I was doing? I don't even remember, you know. But back to you, my king. And I say king because as we go through this journey, we recognize the powers that be and the energies that come forth. Yes, I know you go by His Imperial Majesty Prince. And sometimes a voice will speak to me and say, recognize the king in front of you. So I do recognize you there, my king. So, Your Majesty, can you give us a brief background about yourself? What I have seen up to so far has been nothing short of a living, I'm afraid to say, a living miracle. But the work that you have done internationally, brokering peace deals between factions that would have been considered non-negotiating or non-negotiable factions, for me, is nothing short of incredible. So, just for our listeners who've just joined us, our viewers who've just joined us, can you just give us a brief background of who you are, where do you come from, and where you've been, and the work that you do today?
Well, I'm Prince Siwa Malatsi. Anyway, somebody will be asking me a question. Why Siwa Malatsi? Well, Siwa Malatsi is actually the surname of my mother. Mother's
Yes.
surname, and of course, Siwa, it is my father's one, which I carry both
Ah,
because normally it is like that. Because when you take one side and you leave the other side, you forget. So I carry them both. So, because based on that, it creates a balance
mm,
of female spirit and the male spirit.
aha,
Actually, my mothers, they're coming from, of course, from the Limpopo,
yes,
of course, from the Siale, Sale Mujaji. So they are from the Mujajis.
yes,
And
yes, yes.
my, of course, and from the other side of her mother's side, she's from the Rustenburg in Malamakute in
Yes.
Pilanesberg, which my great grandfather was the founder who found Malamakoteng even
Oh,
before the Pilanis came in. So we're the
wow.
founders of that. But because he died, he of course he had 10 5 sons and 5 daughters, but all the boys died.
Yes.
And of course, during the time, then there was no anybody to take over, so the kingdom or whatever disappeared. But it continued with
Yes.
me all along. But I did not want that. So actually, my background started a little bit. Let me start it to join between who I started and where I am right now.
Yes.
I started having gifts since I was young. I used to
Mhm.
see things when I was young. My mother told me that even when I was young, people when they held me in their hands, they would even they are sick, they'll be they'll be healed.
Mm.
So growing up, I was always a special kid. I was famous, and I had dreams and visions.
Yes.
And I became the first tumbler in South Africa known as a rubber man back in the 80s.
Yes.
I started doing break dancing. But and mostly of the thing where I grew up in Brett, under the white farmers.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
and then actually I was born in Atteridgeville, Lady Selborne. But with that spirit, I was able to see things. I was ahead of my time.
Yeah.
When I started tumbling, I remember seeing one movie of the Chinese, and then exactly in me,
Yes.
I knew it's me. And I started tumbling, self-taught.
Literally.
Exactly. I would dream and I would do, and things will come into that. I would even dancing. So
Wow.
then we moved to Mapopani and all. I moved from Mapopani. I went to, I started coming to town in Maravastat. People used to see me doing wonders because this thing started to grow
So you were doing this on the streets,
on the streets.
performing.
Performing and during the apartheid. And that time, the white people they were my supporters because they would look at even sorry to say they say these Cafures, I don't even understand Africans no more because I've been out, but they were saying that I'm something else. They would help me even the time they were kicking the black people out of the street, but me they would protect me and give me money because I came up with things. I was even advised by the white people because they saw certain things,
Yeah.
even though they saw the potential.
At the height of apartheid, where
I was
white people in South Africa, were the oppressor.
exactly, but because of this gift,
Yeah.
it went beyond. It hypnotized their head and it opened their heart, and they looked at me as something special.
So here we are seeing an art form
Exactly.
working as a liberation tool.
Exactly, as a liberation tool, which is something that has created a bridge between hate and love.
Ah.
So, which it has dominated that part of what they think to what they see and what they feel.
Ah.
So that's the most important part. Coming to Joburg, and I was told about Johannesburg. Coming to Joburg,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
that's
you're coming from
Pretoria.
Pretoria,
remember
and
the-
you'd never been to Joburg.
Joburg. I remember the first day in Johannesburg in Park Station.
Yeah.
They used to have some rubber man that was there, and he was ahead of me. He was more advanced because I came and I looked at him first time.
Yeah.
And I went back home. I remember, I went to him and I say I was from Pretoria.
Yeah.
This is something that really hurts me a lot. And I said to him that I know something. And he said to me that, oh, okay, man, you're from Pretoria. He made a joke. So you say you want to compete with me? I said, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
And he started playing around with me and then people laughed. I went back home. I say I'll show him. And I started training myself more. And I went into a thing. I say the power that is above,
Yes.
the power that chose me.
Yes.
Mine, it is not to show off, but it's to inspire. Give me the power. And I trained. I went back.
Yes.
I challenged him. And then it was just that. And he became my student. I started to dominate everything in Johannesburg. I remember even people like Penny. I started actually the street performance. And this is an inspiration to our kids today.
Yeah.
I never had sponsors, neither the government, but
Yeah.
I had self-dream because I believe that I was born to do something for myself to prove to the world because that's my purpose. No,
You didn't have access to the typical stage and facilities that
nothing.
somebody with your kind of talent as a kid would have required for them to develop their talent further.
Exactly.
But you decided to use the streets as your stage.
Exactly. And now the stage started to call me in.
Wow.
invited me. I remember I was a permanent resident in Razzmatazz during the time, early 80s, time of Penny Penny, the time of Oskidos, time of Brenda Fassie and all.
Yeah.
I was the main person. Everybody knew me. I used to perform in the stadiums and all.
Yeah.
Tumbling.
Mm.
Yeah, I won a lot of competition. Kibelo,
Mkabelo,
yeah,
I remember.
yeah, Colgate's Brand a Smile show. I won. I did a commercial of the first commercial of peanut butter, Skippy peanut butter, with my son Lucky.
Oh,
with
that
Tam-
was you.
Yeah, with Tamingo Benny.
Now I'm showing off my age, right?
Yes.
But I'm sure we could find it on YouTube.
Yes, you could find that. And all of these things became strong. I remember meeting this man from England,
Yes.
and he looked at me. He said, I was in China,
Yes.
and I saw some tumblers, Chinese tumblers,
Yes.
but you are different,
Yes.
and I want to make a call now. It was a white man, a bull man, a white man.
This was in Joburg on the street.
Yes, he was a white man, an Afrikaner.
Yeah.
And you know what he told me? He said, I never liked black people, but I'm going to help you. He told me that. He said, I'm going to help, and you've made me to change my mind
My
about
perspective
black people. It's about black people. And he took me to one guy from a British man. He said, call China. I give you this man. You're an agent. Call China.
Yes.
Send them your video. He took me a video,
Mm-hmm.
and then he sent it to China. They say, we want him now. When I got to China, I remember telling people I'm going to China, say, Chinese are better than you. I say, no. I am not what I've been trained. It means that what I am, it is beyond what they do. They come from a school, and I'm given by this divine power. When I got to China, I dominated, and they called me the emperor. They told me that you are not yourself. You are the reincarnation of Buddha, because what is inside you, we have never seen anyone that come from Africa or any part of the world who will come to this and dominate and teach us things that we do not even know.
You know, we used to have a little joke growing up where we say, hey, who do you think you are? You think you can teach a Chinese man karate?
Oh, and I taught the Chinese. And I did. And I did. And they called me the emperor in China before that, because they say it's not. And I was the first one to make the Chinese to stand up and stamp their feet and whistle, because my entertainment of tumbling was not like gymnast, was a comedy and dance at the same time.
It was a performance.
It was a performance of showing love and excitement and bringing families together.
Yes.
And that's what made me strong. And then after that, Germany saw me, and they invited me, the Germans, to Germany and Europe to perform, and I proved to the world. And then America came, because I remember Cedric Walker, who was my first employer, and I was employed by Cedric Walker, who is the founder of the Jackson 5, the Commodores, the Manhattans, and he's the father of who started the hip hop with the Randy MC, and he did a movie called New Jack City with Wesley Snipes.
Yes.
And he's the man who promoted hip hop, and he promoted even break dance, the movie called Break Dance. So he's the father of entertainment. These are guys, those are people like Quincy Jones.
Yes.
He's the man who came. He heard of me. He saw me on television. People came. And that time we didn't have internet.
He saw you in Germany when he
saw me. Some people sent him the images, because he was building a circus.
Yes.
Because after retiring from he was on Motown, when the hip hop started to change and become rough.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I'm getting out. I'm stepping back. So he started to create the black circus, because he realized there was no black circus.
Yes.
So he created a black circus in America, whereby he mixed hip hop and cultural dance, African cultural dance together.
Yes.
Hip hop, hip hop culture and African culture together. So then when he came here in South Africa, they came 2 weeks looking for me. He couldn't find me. And I used to perform in Randburg waterfront before. So people, they used to tell him that I used to perform there. And he waited for me. He used to go and wait until one of the guys told me that, hey, there's one man from America wanted to see you. And asked, is it black or white? Say black. I said, no, black people.
So at that time, because you had gotten so many, I'd say, leg ups from white people, your mind at the time was, okay, black people are not in a position to can help me take my talent further than what it is.
Exactly. This is where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So because that time black was not, it was still that mind. And when he came and I remember first time, and that's where I started to introduce Lunga to Cedric. I remember when he came to me and he said to me that he'd seen my videos and whatever. He wanted to audition me, wanted to take me to America, but he said, "Listen, I'm going to tell you the honest truth.
Yeah.
America, have seen it all. I've taken many acts in America. The audience are so hard." You know what I said to him?
Yeah.
I said to him, "America hasn't seen me yet. They will know." And you know what he said? Even today, if you call him, he'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And he said, "You are hired. I don't want to see you." Your confidence. Because many people, when I go to them, even in England or whatever countries, when they realize that I'm a Michael Jackson's former manager, they shake. Because when I tell, but you told me that, it say you hired. And that's why I started to introduce Lunga and Lucky.
You said that like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And I just need to look it up to produce it. Did you just say former manager of Michael Jackson?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Exactly, former manager of Michael Jackson, the Commodores, the Manhattans.
And this was the man that
Salt and
wanted to
Pepper.
work with you.
He's the man that came and waited for me for 2 weeks to find me. And he's the man that took me to America and Lunga. Because after that, then I introduced Lunga.
So how does Lunga come into the picture? I mean, here you are, you've been tumbling, you've been doing performances all over the streets, and now you've made it into clubs, and now you've traveled to China, you've traveled to Germany,
Yes.
and now, then enter Lunga into the picture.
Well, I had a lot of students.
Yes.
Yeah. One of my students, he just told me that he want to bring one little young lady who has a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah.
And he want me to train her. I said, okay, it will be good to tell, to develop a young lady. When she came, I was so touched. I love that. I don't know. We are connected spiritually. She was
Yes.
very spiritual. I could sense it. And I introduced Princess Lunga to Cedric.
Yes.
The same time, after meeting Cedric, I say, this young lady has a talent and has a potential. I want to train. And he said, what? I say, yes. And he said, okay, I'll book for you to go to Cape Town.
Yes.
There's a school called Zip Zap Circus.
Yes.
So to train in so that they can teach you how to do things, to point and things like that.
To perform basically for that kind of
For
crowd.
me, it was like I did not want to be trained as an academic. I need to allow those who gave me this talent to reveal themselves, because I was not taught. They will teach me, then I will do what other people. Well, I allowed him. I said, okay. We went there for 2 weeks. They couldn't train anything. And I called him. I say, he was in America by then, because he left me there. Say, they do not know how to work. They do not even know how to train. And they say, yes, we have 1 week for you to come back here. I say, yes, I'll train. 72 hours. It took me 72 hours to turn Princess Lunga into a star. When I sent him the video, he said, I want her.
He could not believe his eyes.
Yes. And believe me, when we got to America, we blew America up. There is no history of anyone in the history of live performance.
Yes.
With people, if the artists come because you know them, you'll already know this is my star. But
Yes.
you don't know this person who just come first time and will shake America, standing ovation every day, sold out shows. So that's where we traveled.
Wow.
But all in all, she will tell you when she was young, I will be sleeping and I'll wake up and say, no, wake up, wake up, look up. They told me to give you these tricks.
Wow.
She knows that.
So this
It's spiritual.
would be the spirit world, or the spirit realm, the spiritual realm.
Exactly.
And I guess those energies
Yes.
that would then come and show you new tricks.
Exactly. Because what you become spiritually, how do people ask me, how do you see it?
Yes.
I said, and they will teach me how. For example, I will look at her body. I have never done contortion, neither to bend.
Yeah.
But I will look at her and my body will tell me, I will feel how she has to do. And I will see it. And I'll tell her that if you want to be more flexible, use this tense here, release this muscle. And she does it. She even wrote that she does not understand that I haven't done contortion, but I was able to teach her. But because I see them, I feel them. Even in my body, they will be able to make me feel the thing. And this is how I made them and be able to make them stars. But this is how I do. Everything that I do is channeled.
Mm,
It's
mm,
channeled, and it is not about me. I am not a star. I'm just a dead body that uses the force, the
yes.
energy, the spirit, the connection, the ninkra, the kufa, those that connect through your body to be able to exhibit. I'm just in a gallery,
Ah, my
spiritual
goodness.
gallery. Yes,
Um, I'm flabbergasted.
yes,
You know, I'm blown away to be honest with
yes,
you. You know, and your story is so remarkable.
yes,
And I love how now when you say they couldn't train you in Cape Town,
yes,
right?
yes,
And this is an art form, by the
yes,
way. You know,
yes,
performing art.
exactly,
That's what we are referring to here.
exactly.
Now, and you make a very important note that
Yes,
it had to have been something spiritual because the school couldn't train you
the coding.
and they couldn't get you to do the things that you
Young
know
woman, no,
you were potentially gifted to do
exactly,
or had the potential to do.
exactly.
Right. How important has it been for you to keep that connectivity? You know, a lot of times um, we start on a journey and the money comes in and the fame comes in and all of that comes in and we start losing our observation of the spirituality aspect of the entire process that is taking place within ourselves. How did you maintain and sustain that?
Recognition of who you are. I have learned that what I do and what I am are not the same.
Two different things.
Yes. What I am allows me and maintain what I do.
Mm.
And I have to own what I do, not owned by what I do. Because if I'm owned by what I do, I become the owner of what I do, then I forget who I am.
Ah,
So this is the same thing because who I am, I'm the generator and I'm a supplier to what I do.
oh, yes.
So spiritually, it's me who have to receive because I have to depend on what I am, not what I've been told to do or what
Yes.
I've been trained to do, because we are becoming what we have learned.
Mm.
But who you are, you will never miss the point if you allow who you are to be your teacher, because who you are has an answer. What Why we have a problem today is because we allow what we became to be our life. Now, our lifestyle and our profession
Yes.
or what we gain from what we do should not change who we are born to do. So we
Absolutely.
have lost what we are born to do. We are focusing on what we have learned to do. So that's the
Mm.
spiritual life that we are forgetting. And your spiritual life
Mm.
will never mislead. Learn yourself. Nobody can tell you about yourself. You
Mm.
need to know who you are and look at the positive angles and wrinkles and even the circle of who you are and understand the book of who you are. We do not learn, we learn about other people, but we forget to learn about ourselves. Your
That's so true.
emotions. This is what we need. The moods and emotions, that's who you are.
That is so true. That is so true. Lunga, here you are, very young. How old were you? You must have been 9, right?
When we went overseas, I was 9, but he started training me at the age of 8.
Man, you know, some of us even struggle to teach 10-year-olds. It takes a special kind of talent and a special kind of patience, right? Um, Lunga, how was the transition for you from a child that is just excited to be in South Africa, wherever you were, and to see yourself get on a plane and then perform in front of world stages? Because if I'm not mistaken, I understand you were performing in front of thousands and hundreds of thousands of crowds at that very age. What was that transition like for you?
Um, for me, it was it was always an adventure.
Yeah.
Every day was always an adventure with his highness.
Mm,
The first, he took me around South Africa, and as a child who grew up in the township, for
yeah.
me, South Africa was the world.
Yeah.
Literally, like the whole world to me was South Africa, because when you look at the news, it's the weather, South Africa, this and that and that. So when he took me around South Africa, Kimberley, and Cape Town, to all those places to perform.
Yes.
It was the initiative to get ready for America. But even when I got there, I was still not ready, because every performance that you take,
Yeah.
it's always something new. And as he said, that when we met, it was like that spiritual bond.
Yes.
He taught me the appreciation of performing.
Yes.
And even though I didn't understand exactly that me performing, what it was, I just knew that I was just bending myself. I didn't understand exactly. I was still young. So for me, I was just doing what I enjoyed with the family, because when he started training me, that's when he also became a father to me.
Yes.
And when he gave me that opportunity to have that father spiritually, I grew, but I didn't know that I was growing spiritually. And I had a brother spiritually, and he would make us meditate. And as he said, he would wake us up in the middle of the night and say, do this. And you would do it just like that. And
Wow.
any contortionist that you would meet, it takes you a while before you are actually, your body is actually ready to do something hectic and physical.
Yeah.
But whenever he would wake me up and wake us up in the middle of the night, it's like our bodies were forever ready for anything.
Man, that is incredible. Lunga, your story is so incredible. That's why I say, like, it would be such a big injustice if I were to try and cram your story into this. But I mean, you rose all the way to the top, and then you lost it all, and then here you are again, back, to being better than you were before. And that is a story I'd like to capture. So can we just make an agreement? His Imperial Majesty. Can we just have an agreement that I can have her back in studio, and
Yes.
we would love to delve more into her story.
Yes.
Right. Coming back to you, His Imperial Majesty. You are referred to as the global messenger of peace, the Prince of Peace. How did that come about?
Well, this, as we said, is a connection. There is no coincidence in where your page one to the last page of your
Yes.
life. Uh, Coming back into this, I used when I was young.
Yes.
I used to heal, cure when I was 17, 16, and I ignored that because I used to see, as you understand, back in those days, Sangoma or
Yeah.
spiritualism was a voodoo kind of a evil.
Yeah, it
So,
was.
but I used to see things like the way I am today, but I would ignore. I even changed. I say I was American before even going to America.
Yes.
I said I was in America because I wanted to chase the spirit. I went to churches, to pastors, to pray for me because
Cast this demonic spirit out.
out of me, and for me it was bad. But I used to heal people. I did a lot of miracles. People knows I gave. I was just not using people who get sick and say take this, but I did not want that. I wanted to be on the stage. So now I left this. I remember going to one of the spiritual pastor Zion
Yes.
Banda. My brother took me there for the blessing of this, and when he put it, he said to me, "That man was real. He was not fake.
Yes.
He did not know me." He said, "You know who you are, and you have no problem except who you are." And I was still wearing a punk clothes.
Yeah,
And it's like-
I guess you
those
wouldn't have
times-
been caught dead in anything that you are wearing currently.
Yes, it was a contradiction. So he said, "You know your color, you know everything. Nobody will be able to put your hands on your head. You have to do what you have to do. The world is yours, and you are a great man. Do the right thing."
Mm.
And I left. I used to go to the born again churches, pray for me, and it did not work. It kept coming. And I remember the last word said, "Do you want to be how you want to be, or you need to live how we made you or brought you to live?" Like,
Wow.
and I had to accept because sometimes I used to go to psychologists, say I was sick because I could hear the voices. I
Oh
could
my
hear someone
goodness.
coming in. I thought I was sick. So they say you are perfect. So all these kind of things, and I had to continue. But my mother and my father understood me. But
Mm.
people did not understand because when I was a child, I used to talk to stones. I used to talk to trees. But you
Yes.
see, and I realized that because those people who died long time,
Yeah.
they held this tree or this stone, then the energy left there. So then when I hold it, then I'll be able to talk to them,
You'd be able to pick up that
pick up
energy, and
energy
it
and
would
be able
become
to exactly.
like a connecting.
Exactly. Now, after leaving America, after resigning because I was told to stop,
Yes.
I did not want to listen. When I was in America, they say you go back to Africa, do what you do. We gave you a chance. You have seen everything. I did not want to.
Yes.
Unfortunately, and I was told by the Spirit, if people do not, you understand me when they say you are told. Let me explain. People, there are certain things you hear from them or
Yes.
see. Sometimes they use people. You will meet someone that you do not know, and will come and tell you that, oh, you need to do this and do this. And after that, you have 10 people saying the same thing. You know the way going. You don't know those
They're
people
all telling you the
the
same
same thing
message.
without even knowing. You are seated and say, oh, this place will be good. And you have to understand how they talk. So those are the signs that were. And after resigning, I went to resigning, say now I'm old.
Yeah, when you said
Yeah,
I'm leaving performing
performing
arts.
art. Now I'm coming back home.
Yes.
Cedric Walker, the same manager that
Yes.
took me to America, he said, look, you already developed South African kids. What about going to other African countries
Yes.
so that you can develop other kids and then be able to do things? Because sometimes people, they are chosen to
Yes.
guide you for where you should be, but without knowing. So he is my guardian, because that is why I was telling I'm your boss, because I made you rich.
Yes.
Because in America, when we got there, his circus was still new and it
Yes.
was it was even about to close. But when we got there,
You revived
oh
it.
yes, it was so loud. So abroad, even today, he will tell you that I am where I am because of him.
Wow.
Okay, so we started to have a tour to go around Africa, as a talent scout and developer. Then when I went to Guinea, the first country we went to was Guinea Conakry. But
Yes.
when I got to Guinea, I had an audition. Yes. Now listen to this. Then we had more than 200 kids who were there to be auditioned,
Yes.
who had talent there at second school. But when I auditioned these kids, nothing greater. They were not up to standard. They were like
Yeah.
2% compared to what I had. Me, I wanted something, kids
So
who
you were
already.
looking for another special kid like yourself.
Yeah, I'm looking for something else. And I remember telling him that no, we gotta leave Guinea and go to Ethiopia because in Ethiopia they're better, as I heard. And you know what? They were sitting there. And you know what he said to me? He was channeled. I knew when they talked to me through people. He looked at me. He said, Prince, you have done something great. I've seen it how you have turned longer within 72 hours and you made a start. These kids, if you leave them, look at them. They're looking at you because they know you can change your life. If you leave these kids here, they will be victims of war
Yes.
or drugs and everything, and you see they're suffering. They are not ready because you have to make them ready. Prove it.
Wow.
These kids, if you leave them and you go to get theirs, then you are not that person. And I say no, but they're not ready. And I had to go to the hotel, and his words kept running. I tried to sleep. I even sat up, and I had to go to him and say, "Yes, tomorrow we are going there. I will train." It's like, "You, my man."
Wow.
And I did not even know that Guinea was a godfather of ANC. I did not even know. I remember going to the mayor, to the minister of art and culture, because
In Guinea.
in Guinea with the my former manager or employer,
Yeah.
because we had to go through the Department of Art and Culture. And they told me, do you know this country is the one that hosted Mama Maria Makeba for 25 years? Do you know this is a country that helped your country? Even Gavin Begi will say, even Thabo Mbeki grew up here. Do you know this is a country that has liberated all African countries, even including Kwame Nkrumah?
Wow.
And I said like this. And this man said, you are the chosen one. You are here to pay the bills of your people because they forgot about us.
Wow.
Do the right thing. You are the chosen one. And from there, I had to train these kids to pay the bill of South Africa, and everybody started to love me, and they would invite me to the villages, and I'll find the problems in the villages.
Yes.
And I would go there and talk to the kings. I say, you're not doing the job. You're not doing things. Why there's no water? I'll go to the government now, doing something else now. So that started to be more stronger and develop and develop. And they started calling me the king, the emperor. People, and I would do it without even knowing. If the
Yes.
kids do not have a passport, they don't have a passport. I used to fight the militaries when there's war. Say, no, you stop killing your own people. The white people killed you. Now they left bullets for the guns for you to kill your own. I did not even know. I was just doing that, and I used to train and take these kids, especially collecting the child soldiers,
Yes.
and even juvenile prisoners, and say, let me turn these kids into things. So I started to develop that in counseling and advising the presidents, and other countries would invite me
To come and do
in.
the same.
Yes, do the same thing. And then sometime when there's a war there, I would go when they are killing, and when I come in, I say, you stop. I do not even know. They will stop. And
Wow.
I would come out. But that time I was still Americanized. I was still wearing the clothes.
Yes.
The
Yes. The
American
American
clothes
baggy
and things like
clothes and
that.
so forth.
But it was not about what I was wearing, it was about the word.
Yes.
So all the time, and then people started to really like, and I developed. If you look at the history of Guinea, it's one of the countries in Africa that has more shows. I mean, especially clientele, especially agencies across the world, in the
Yes.
secular world, and even in tradition. Because what I did, I brought back the culture that was forgotten. Then I
Yes.
brought the spirits, and we started to play djembes and drummers. And Guinea is a country where the djembe began,
Yes.
and balafon. So I brought the spirit back. So now I started to create festivals and open doors from the international world. So Guinea is one of the countries that I built. I created a lot of opportunity for thousands and thousands of the youth in Guinea.
Yes.
So now other countries like Mali, Burkina, the president will call me, the ministers will call me, or I will go by myself to develop the same people. But now spiritually, I started to grow. The inner side of me, of the spirit, started to come out more.
Yes.
Then when there's a problem, I would just come and bless. And I was the first person to be able to be called by Muslims. And then I would have secret meetings with what you call terrorists or the Boko Harams or whatever people,
Yeah.
rebels. They will call me to listen to me or talk to them, and I would talk without fear, telling them the solution about Africa. I used to tell them that
And you used to broker, talk them into peace.
into peace. And that is why they would call me the next Nelson Mandela. That's
Mm.
why they were calling me Mandelian, you know. And I remember one president saying, no, don't say that. Never say you're Mandelian, because Mandela is one person, you are a person. Don't promote his name, promote your thing, so that South Africa can be like this. Because your work is completely different
Different from
from
what
what
he
he
did.
did. He
Yes.
just fought for the South African for liberation, and they liberated white people and other people. But you are liberating our youth. You are liberating our people from war, from poverty, and you are bringing peace. And you are using art as a solution, because I would use it with this, telling stories about African stories and all, and bring everybody together.
Wow. I mean, I could listen to you for
Yes,
for
yes,
hours, you know. And now here's the thing. The one thing that I would not love uh, to see you leave without sharing with us
yes,
is this one particular um uh, 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 you know thing that is fermenting in my mind.
yes,
There's a lot of young people, and in fact not just young and old, young adults, some
yeah,
people are in their 30s and so forth, and all of a sudden they've got this thing that they feel like they have a calling, or something spiritual is starting to ferment within them, and a lot of them are stuck. They don't know where to start. And I mean, from the conversation I've had with you, I didn't hear you speak about going to initiation school to grow spiritually.
yes.
You mentioned something about paying attention to yourself. How did you develop your spiritual gift?
The spiritual gift is something that you have, and luckily enough, we differs, because,
Mm,
as I say, that I used to talk to leaves and trees,
yes.
and sometimes I'll see the tree talking to me. And for me, I understood since I was young. And you see, your parents, if you have parents that will really look at you and be able to tell you who you are,
Yes.
because it's us, the parents, who will tell you who you are. And if we make you say, leave this is not who you are, if you tell a child is stupid, it will be stupid.
Yes.
Because that's what you tell. If you tell them they're ugly, automatically the physique will take that. If you tell them they're beautiful, even though there is no ugly and beauty,
Yes.
that's what it is. But for me, it's because I grew up under this spiritual family that,
Yes.
of course, my grandmother used to be a healer.
Ah.
So that's what it is. But she never did, but she would see things into me. And I used to be among people, and because I used to see things,
Yes.
I used to tell even her the prophecies that I used to see. So I developed that, and I understood. That's why when I I left school at the age of class 10 at 5, because for me in school, I did not see myself. I said, what am I looking for? This is not what I want to do. I don't want to be in the class. I don't want to be under office, because this is who I am. Because even in school, I would pass without even study. I don't know even how. I would go 3 times. My absence were more than presence. Sometimes 3 times a day, I'll go with the shirts, and then from there I'll draw my shirts. I was the worst child, but I was very intelligent and very talented. And I left school. I told my mom, no, this is not what I have to do. And my mother said, no, I will leave you. This is what I wanted to do. I would tumble. Even in school, I didn't have money. I would do the tumbling, and all these kids would give me money. So for me, my future started right there.
Wow.
So the development of spiritualism is because, remember, that why we feel is because we have ignored who we are.
Yes.
Then who we are comes in. We are the spirit, mind, and the spirit.
Yes.
So the mind and the spirit works subconsciously in you, controlling your 9 firmaments, which is the taste. It's like you say 6 senses.
Yes.
But it's the 9 pillars of moods: anger, emotional, happiness, that, feeling, doubts. All these are pillars that are making 9 pillars, which 9 firmaments of spirit. If you would look at, for example, if you watch television and you see a snake, your body always starts. You have a good, or somebody telling you something good, and you'll have a goose pimple by hearing. Those are the firmaments. It's signs of knowing the senses. If we allow them and understand it, it will go into that. Now, the initiations and because remember, there are teachers and learners.
Yes.
There are people that have to learn because they have to get it from someone.
Yes.
So they go through that because they are not the gifted, they are the chosen.
Yes.
Remember, the chosen and the gifted are different. So when you are chosen, it means it's a calling. But when you are born, it means you came with that, knowing what to do. There are people who are coming to this world knowing what to do. There are people who has to learn what to do.
Yes.
So in my life, I realized nobody has taught me anything. I was not born to learn, I was born to teach. So there are people like that, like Lunga, she was supple, but she was there. So the spiritual line, it goes into religious, what do you call, adoptions. So now who we are the orchards.
Yes.
So every tribe, every nation, every continent has this different food and different water taste.
Yes.
So we are created based on that. Then your spiritual cause and DNA of yours, it depends on what you've been eating. And that is why they call it genetic, because we have that. Now, most of us, we have forgotten what we've been eating, what we've been drinking, that give the senses of the body. We use a lot of chemicals in our body. Now, what happened to us? Then genetically, spirit and the physical world does not connect. So it becomes more stronger here, but the physical cannot do miracles. So metamorphosis and the psychokinesis that you call it, it does not relate to the body. We cannot sense, for example, one pillar of yours. Have you seen that if somebody come behind you and immediately when you want to do this, then you turn without knowing and you find someone.
Yes.
Even when you are sleeping, because you will have that senses. Now, where does it come from? It comes from the senses of the trees that you eat, the food you eat. What are we eating today? And this is what I've been teaching people, that this is what we eat today and this is what you do. Then we have to understand those senses. If you continue more, then you'll be able, the sound, things, people that you're thinking of and they call you.
Yes.
Or people that you talk about, they appear. And if you learn that we have that, we need to know and write our story and understand that this is what it is, then this is where people are stuck. But the initiation, it was not about building the force. It was to connect you with who you are and be able to look at the science of life and the trees that surrounds you and the power. That is why you find that they say those tribes, they are good with this
Particular.
particular disease is because of the trees that are there, the herbs are there to heal these particular sicknesses. So that's why it become like that. So the spiritual world is so scientific. And in ancient time, the pharaoh, I'm not talking about because when we say ancient time, we're thinking about colonial time. No, we're talking about before
Pre-colonial
colonial
time.
ancient
Yes.
ancient civilization, African ancient civilization, the pharaoh, imperial pharaoh time,
Yes.
in the Siwans. So the acrophology of their medicines was based on the life of mankind. They have studied mankind and look at the shapes. Are you aware that a certain form of people have a certain behavior? I know you know people that looks the same without knowing each other, but they have
Yeah.
the same character.
Yeah.
And we say they look alike, even they behave the
They
same
even
way
behave the same.
because of the form of who we are in the physic, and this is how we react. That's why the pharaohs mostly they were people with the long faces.
Yes.
Because those people has a particular look and a particular form. So it is what we need to learn about who we are, what they call it biology and science. This is who we were. We knew these things before in a spiritual form.
Yes.
What they use it as a magnet, for example, if you sense us,
Yes.
this is who we are. They were able to develop the white people, or the Western, but this is what we knew. So they have developed because they uses these crystals and stones, and we use those things for energies before.
Yes.
So we were able to have time to learn how to take a crystal ball and find or crystal stone or mineral or any energetic stone to be able to adapt with us and be able to know. So this is the world we need to learn. The teachers that teaches others, they are not there to teach people what they know.
Yes.
They should open them to who they're supposed to do. Now others are stuck because they are taught what to do. You not have to be taught what to do. You have to open the tap of who that person is. That is why some of them they go back, they go there, and then from there after that they do not see or do not do because they have adapted them and convert them to what they know. But you need to be able to learn. When you come to me, I have to learn and see you and feel you and be able to help you, because how I help Lunga, Princess Lunga, I had to enter her and talk to her inside
Spiritually.
and ask the body what is this that will be good for her, and be able to know who she is, and then I will have to open who she is, not how I want her to be.
Yes.
So it is a problem, and that's why they are stuck. But they need to be taught. They need to be opened. You open a person a channel,
Yes.
and you as a shaman,
Yes.
or as a marabu,
Yes.
or as a sangoma or nyanga, whatever, you need to be able to understand the patient,
Yes.
and you learn the patient because you are there to teach. She is there to do. You have discovered. She has to discover.
Yes.
You are actually not the discover. She's a discoverer, and you are the information,
The guide.
the guide. So now they teach people. Then it is not that. Then it means you have converted the person. Then you have converted her spirit. You have converted everything. Then he become your spiritual zombie without knowing.
Oh.
So
goodness.
everyone in the field of spiritualism
Yes.
has her own palace, and he or she is a queen or a king in her land. That is why we cannot tackle the spiritual problems,
Yes.
and that is why they are still stuck. They are there, but they are not themselves. They are trained to become something
become
else.
who their trainers
So to
are.
exactly. Then it become a technical learning. It become more like a herbalist or pharmacist. So
Yes.
knowing the medicines, than to connect with the spirit and be able to know.
Yes.
This is where I been helping people with like her. When she came to me, she was misled spiritually. That's why she was crazy. sorry to say, like insane. She was saying things that are
Yes, she
this
felt like she was losing her mind.
mind. No, she was losing her mind. She would talk things that we did not know. And what I did, I had to go inside her and balance her and call her and remove what is being put into her, that which is something that was fighting her until she was okay. It is very deep. You have to know exactly because she will tell you who she is in a conscious or nine feminine world. The
Yes.
nine feminine world now, what happened is that your tongue
Yes.
talks, you don't own what you say, and what she hears she don't own. It is telling her without you knowing what you said. It's
Wow.
called channeling, but it goes deeper and deeper and deeper in that we are eating too much meat. We are no more eating a lot of fruits,
Yes, and a lot of
vegetables.
vegetables.
In real herbs we do not
Yes.
do that, so we are losing the psychokinesis powers of feeling.
Wow. Phew. I am literally at a loss for words, my king. Um, we have touched on, you know, art coming into um, it- to the world stage and using art as a tool of liberation. And, you know, some of the examples that you gave are examples where we saw people's perceptions
Yes.
change about another group of people.
Yes.
And now you've brought us into how the spirituality was, you'd say, the big factor that was directing all of this.
Yes.
Living up your wildest dream or your biggest dream, being on global stages and giving that all up because you're still submitting to that spirit that is responsible for your gift and your talents and your achievements, and where it says to you, now this is the next chapter of your life. And now you've just given us you know how exactly then the healing comes into play, where now we are seeing spirituality coming into play to enhance one artistic gift, which then subsequently becomes a healing process for that particular individual. My king, I feel so blessed, and I can never thank you enough. And I can only hope, if it is not too much, and if God willing, the creator willing, I would love to have you back again in studio before you leave the country. I know you're here for a project or for various projects, but I'm very excited about you know, one of the things that you told me, you've got this screening that is coming up of a documentary, and this is a documentary about Lunga's rise and fall, Princess Lunga's rise and fall, and your journey with her, and the role that you played, and her being able to recover and to find restoration,
Yes.
you know, to come back to the top again. And I understand that you guys are in the country looking to develop other Lungas,
Exactly.
you know. So I am wishing you all of the best. But before I close off, please give us parting words that we can take from today's interview. Number one, just from the space that we've shared. Number one, that's what I'd love for you to share with our audiences. And I think something else also that I'd like to know from you. Um, look, my goal is not to become a contortionist, but I need to show my daughter that I can tumble.
Yes.
So can we agree that we can have that?
Yes.
All right, my king, please, your parting words for today, and you know, any viewer that is listening, and that combination between spirituality, healing, and art.
Yes. What I would like to really say to not only those who've listened and those who are alive, even those who are gone before this truth, is that we need to know who we are, what we are born to do, and we need to understand and learn ourselves a lot. And don't listen to people who tells you who you are.
Yes.
Just show people who you are. You don't have to fight. You have to be able to understand. And for me, it is the power. We need to come back to who we are as Africans.
Yes.
We are the spirits. We are known for the arts.
Yes.
Egypt. If you look at Sudan,
Yes.
the pyramids of Sudan, even the castle of the Sudan in Egypt, to Morocco,
Yes.
even all these countries that still have the ancient Platon's prints.
Yes.
It means the art and the spirit were the same. So you need to live your spiritual world, not the one that you have adapted, because
Yes.
people have adapted that, and be able to practice what you call humanity. Ours
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, because Ubuntu, it is the key and the medicine to all the problems that we have. So this is what we do, because with humanity, you know that you'll be able Ubuntu, you'll be able to help your neighbors, you'll be able to understand one's problem, you will be able to forgive, you won't be able to hit or abuse or steal from someone. Let's go back to who we are. Africa, return to your roots, which is Ubuntuism.
Ah,
Ubuntu Krasi.
Ubuntuism, Ubuntu
Krasi.
Cressy. Thank you very much. Lunga, your parting words?
Uh, just be true to yourself
Yeah.
and always stay humble.
Be true to yourself and stay
Yes.
humble.
The greatest thing you can ever give to your soul, your ancestors, your angels, to God,
Yes.
is to always stay humble.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And with that, we are signing out and thank you for tuning in. And till next time, we are definitely going to have the king back. We are definitely going to have you, Lunga. We would love to hear your story and for you to tell us more about your upcoming screening of your documentary.
I'll be grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bayet.
Bye.
Bye.